You are now tuned in to the Addicted2success.com podcast, where geniuses, entrepreneurs, and next-level game changers share their juicy little secrets on achieving massive success. This is the advice you wish you heard years ago. Be prepared and take note as we expose the realness and the raw of what it takes to be successful on Addicted2success.com.
Now, before we get into this interview, I have an exclusive opportunity for you that I'd love to bring to your attention. And that is, I have just launched a 6 to 12 month mastermind called the Circle of Influence, where I'll be taking you under my wing to show you how to build a platform online that generates an income for you so that you can have more freedom in your life. I'm also going to show you how to become a powerful influencer online so that you can score interviews and so you can get exposure on major publications and platforms. And I'm going to even show you how to build these platforms yourself, such as a website, a podcast, a YouTube channel, and a social media following so that you can get your message out there to millions. I'm also going to show you how to network with other incredible leaders online so that you can interview them and so that you can collaborate with them, and really show you how to refine your story so you can share it in an unforgettable way to score more interviews, to score book deals, and to gain more speaking opportunities so that you can become a powerhouse leader. Now, if this speaks to you, make sure you head over to iamjoelbrown.com/apply and get in before I close my doors on this live, interactive, exclusive opportunity where I'm going to go deep with you and with the community of Circle of Influence Game Changers. Don't miss this. Now let's get into this interview. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Addicted to Success podcast. I'm your host, Joel Brown, and I'm here today with Alex Lombard, who is 26 years old. He is a co-owner of a multiple six-figure, almost seven-figure digital marketing agency that he has only run for only close to 2 years now. This is insane. Now, Alex manages hundreds of 7- and 8-figure earners accounts on social media, and he works with over 600 brands that use his services. Alex is also the CEO and the founder of Vision Wall Inc., where he helps to create online influence for entrepreneurs through features in major publications and scaling their presence on Instagram. His Instagram accounts are Vision Wall, The Success Club, and Invigorate Official, which has a massive following. He's also worked alongside Dan Locke, who's an 8-figure entrepreneur, and he has also worked alongside Russell Brunson of ClickFunnels to help him push his best-selling books and to grow his audience base. I know celebrities like Tyrese Gibson also follow the Success Club that Alex has created. He has a lot of backing and support from incredible entrepreneurs that love his content. And he just has this awesome heart of service. So I can't wait for you to hear Alex's advice and words of wisdom today. Alex, thank you so much for joining us on the Addicted to Success podcast.
Hey, man. Thanks so much for having me. Super excited.
Yeah, I love it, man. You jumped on our mastermind call yesterday, and a number of my students were blown away by the wisdom that you instilled in them. And I just really love the fact that you're a man of service and that you love to really step in and teach others and not just hold it just to yourself. So thank you for playing all out, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You're welcome, brother. You're welcome. So tell me, Vision Wall, how did this come about and what does it mean to you? What's the underlying driver and passion behind Vision Wall?
Yeah, I love it. So it's actually a pretty funny story. I won't go super in depth, but basically I got my start as, an entrepreneur when I was 21 years old. I'm about to be 27, so about 6 years ago now. And I got my, my start in this game of entrepreneurship at 21. I got involved with like a direct selling business. And what ended up happening was, in that industry that I was involved with back then, I needed to go out there and find leads. I had to have, business partners. I had to sell product, things like that. And so once I kind of ran out of, what's called like your warm or hot market, meaning like your circle of influence people that you're surrounded by, once I kind of, went through that and they all said no, I was forced to look elsewhere. And so that's actually what got me onto Instagram in the first place 6 years ago, was because I saw an opportunity with it to use it as like a digital billboard, as a digital platform to reach more people. And at the time, the only goal was literally just to make money and sell, on there. And so that's actually how it started. And then basically just ran with it, for the last 6 years. And it's done a lot. I've gone through some pretty big breakthroughs. I've changed up kind of the brand and the image. I've changed up, what it's all about. I've had different philosophies and ideas and theories and things, when it comes to what it means to me along the way. I just believe that life's a big journey, and you grow, along the way, and you have breakthroughs and things happen. And so where I'm at today with it, it's actually really cool. I started in 2019. One of my biggest goals was I wanted to transfer my brand Vision Wall on Instagram from just like this motivational, inspirational quote page that I was kind of hiding my face and my personality behind into my actual personal brand. And so that's what I did. I transferred it into my life. And so now it's basically just, my entire life, poured out through Instagram, and I do everything I possibly can to be as authentic, as real, and provide as much value as I can to, my followers. And so, really what it is to me today is a few things. I really want to use the brand to reach more people so that I can provide more value in different ways. Just kind of depending on, again, what they're looking for. And then I would say another really big reason and a huge thing that I just love with Instagram in general with personal branding, but also just specifically Vision Wall, is the fact that it can be a force for good. It's a brand that really does matter. And I can use it to create a positive impact in people's lives. One of the biggest things that I'm super passionate about, and I'll throw it back to you, is really just waking people up from this like drifting mentality, where people kind of just get in this rhythm of go to school, get good grades, get a job, work 9 to 5, live for the weekends. And they kind of just don't really do a whole lot with their life. I love this quote. It says, I forget who said it, but it says, most people tiptoe their way through life hoping that they make it safely to death. And that really has always hit me, I just think it's such a powerful quote. And this life is short, man. And I just really want to be an inspiration to get people to wake up and realize that, they can create what they want and live an abundant, amazing life going out there and doing the things that they love to do. So long story short, hopefully that's what it's, what it's all about now.
Oh, brother, I love it. Yeah, that quote is from Miles Monroe.
Okay.
Have you heard of Miles Monroe?
I've heard the name, but I don't know much about him actually.
He was an incredible motivational speaker. He is a evangelist, a Christian evangelist. And he just that guy had so much power behind his voice. Even Les Brown told him that he said, "You're better than me."
Wow. That's
Miles Monroe actually passed away, I think maybe 4 or 5 years ago. But
okay.
Yeah, he would talk often about this. And what the reason why what you said really resonates with me, and also what he says resonates with me, is because I really do believe that we have so much potential.
Yeah.
This conversation around purpose and living between the dash between when you were born and when you pass away and move to wherever you believe you move to, there is an opportunity for you there to really step into your potential. And I think a lot of people fear their potential. They're not playing all out. They're not stepping in. They're pretending that they don't have things going on that they need to work on. And so they just stay in their comfortable zone. And, as you know, bro, nothing really magic and incredible happens there. It always happens outside of it. So
true. So true.
I love it. And I know that, you started out in a family where there wasn't entrepreneurship as a conversation, and you started out really trying to work all this out by yourself. What would you say really would be maybe at least 2 to 3 resources or strategies or pieces of content or mentors or whatever it may be that you learned or even jumped into that you believe really elevated you to this level that you're at today?
Yeah, great question. For me, I had awesome parents, love my parents to death. They're some of my best friends to this day, but they didn't have the business entrepreneurship bug in them at all. Nobody in anyone in my circle growing up did. No, parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents, friends, nobody. And so I didn't know what entrepreneurship was. I didn't know what business was. If you would have asked me that when I was 17, 18, I thought it meant, I have to go invent something or own a gas station, and so I didn't even know, that it really existed in the way that it does. And so when I got involved with it, it definitely was, it was an amazing, amazing moment And obviously it was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life to this day. But of course, I went through a journey. As I mentioned before, everything is a journey. Everything's a big game to me. And I had to learn the rules, and I had to go through the trials and tribulations and the things that it really does take to get to that next level. I think one of the biggest misconceptions I had, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs have this when they're starting out, is they get sold on their dreams so much that they think that it's going to happen in the first 3, 6, 12 months. They think they're going to start their business and they're just going to be rich and they're going to travel the world, and it's just like, it's so funny to look back and really actually look at what I was doing. And I'm like, wow, I really thought that, and so I had a pretty big rude awakening. But to answer your question, man, about a few things that have gotten me to where I'm at, I would say number one is, the biggest thing that I kind of pride myself on is that I just never quit, and you hear this from so many people and coaches and mentors and motivational speakers and things like that about just never giving up. But I think there's a reason for that. It's like, if everyone in this space is talking about that and that's kind of something that you hear often, then it's probably valuable. It's probably something you should do, And so for me, I truly just never gave up. Like so many people, they hit their first obstacle, they hit their, third obstacle, their fifth challenge, their, 10th wall that they run into. And then they quit and they give up and they go back to whatever it is that they're doing now, or, we're doing before. And so for me, I never gave up. I was persistent as you could be. I mean, I went through 5 years basically of just challenge and failure after failure and disappointment after disappointment before I really broke out and saw the, massive momentum that I'm, seeing today. And so number one was I never gave up. Even when I hit the challenges, you can learn, of course, from everything. And so I just tried to I did my best, to learn as I went. And there was some times where I just failed and I had to just soak that in. I had to just accept it and I had to just move on, and I couldn't figure out why. I couldn't figure out what to learn. And I just moved on and I went to the next thing. And so I would say that was number one. And then number two was influence, mentorship. A huge question that I ask a lot of people, and I would challenge, anybody that's listening to this to ask themselves, is who are you listening to? Who's giving you the advice on a day-to-day basis, right? Because most people, they get advice on how to make money, how to build a business, how to be successful, how to be happy from the wrong people. Because most of us, when you're growing up, your circle of influence is your parents, your friends, and from school and sports, your coaches, your teachers, and things like that. And so it's like, if you're, the example I always gave people back in the day was, if you want to get really good at basketball, and that's like your number one thing, are you going to go study the greats like LeBron and Michael Jordan and Dwayne Wade and Larry Bird and things like that? Or are you going to go ask your mom how to get good? And it's like, it's a funny analogy, because it's like, obviously you would go learn from the greats of how to play basketball. Why would I ask my mom? But people do that when it comes to like making money, for example. They go ask their broke friend working at McDonald's, if this is a good business idea, or if they should do this venture or take this risk. And it's like, that just doesn't make any sense, and they obviously aren't going to give you good advice because they've never done it. And so, for me, the mentorship through books, audios, events, I'd recommend going to events. Joel, I know you have one coming up, going to events will change your life. But all of those things, and just really getting around the right people, learning from the right people. And the way you do that is just finding people who have what you want and who you want to become. So your influences in your life are very, very important. So the question you have to ask yourself is, who are you learning from, as you go down your journey. And so that was huge for me. And then the last thing that kind of comes to mind, and obviously there's a lot of little other things as well, but the last big one that comes to mind for me is truly just consistency. And I know it's another one of those things that people hear all the time, and it's, not super sexy. It's not some secret sauce, but at the end of the day, man, it's like, the people who are crushing it in anything, the masters of this world, they just do the basics better. That's all it is. It's like, again, back to the sports analogy. If you want to become amazing at basketball and you go study, again, the grades, you're going to realize that they don't have any secret ability. They don't have some secret talent, some secret sauce that they drink or every day, to be that good. No, they just do 1,000 free throws every day. They play pickup games every day. They practice every day. So people who are really good at their craft, they just do it every single day. And for me, that's really what it is. For Instagram's a perfect example. I was on Instagram 6 years ago, and guess what I did every single solitary day? No matter how I felt, no matter what I was doing, no matter what happened the day before or what's happening the next day, every day I posted and I engaged with my following. every single day. And so consistency is just so key when it comes to absolutely anything in life. And for me, when it comes to success, but from the success that I've found, I definitely have to throw up that, that word consistency and give some praise to it, because I just wouldn't be here without it. So those are the three things, man, that I would just kind of off the top of my head that really came, stuck out when you asked that question.
Beautiful stuff, Alex. Thank you for sharing this. This is such great insight. And yeah, I think that so many people want the advanced, the hacks, the algorithms, and it's like, wait a minute, are you missing the elementary and the foundational stuff? Because that's really what is strong standing. So getting that part right first is really important. And I love that you shared that. So Alex, absolutely. You work with a number of 7-figure earners on their social media accounts and programs and promoting their courses. What advice would you share for anyone that is looking at striving to become, someone that is successful financially, but also with reaching more people and impacting more people with their online brand and business? What have you learned from working with 7-figure earners that you can teach your everyday people around social media today?
Yeah, great question. So I honestly, man, probably the biggest thing that I've taken away from being surrounded by these, just influential individuals and talking branding and social media, and then taking that and working with, just your average person, is that and we kind of talked about this yesterday, actually, on your call with your people on that team call, is everybody has a story. And I think it's just so important to recognize, become aware that you have a story. No, it may not, it's not that it may not, it's not going to be, anything similar to other people, and maybe some, mentors that you do have, and you hear their stories and you're like, well, mine's not that crazy. Mine's not that insane. So it's not good enough. That's not true at all. Everybody has a story, and every story has valuable lessons that can be taught. The thing is, in life, it's like, one thing I've learned is that you can learn from, obviously, your own mistakes. That's like one of the best teachers ever. You mess up and you learn from it, but you can also learn from other people's mistakes, and when you tell your story, no matter what it is, when you tell your story and you're real and you're authentic to your people, what happens is you're going to start building a following of people that relate to that story, and they find comfort, they find value in that story. They learn from your story. And so that's honestly one of the biggest things that I've taken away from, just being in this business, is that it doesn't matter if you're just starting out. It doesn't matter if you've been in this game for 10 years. It doesn't matter if you're making, negative $100,000 a year, or you're making positive $100,000 a year. You're making millions. Literally anyone at any time, doesn't matter. Everybody has a story. And so my advice to those listening would be to figure out what your platform is. Meaning, if you're, you want to build a brand for yourself, really go hard at, a platform to start: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is for you, and tell your story and be real, be authentic, and just go out there and share what, your life with the world, and just be, like I said, real about it, and do your best, to help people. And I guarantee it'll come back to you. So that's probably the number one thing that I could give people.
So Alex, let's say we have a new entrepreneur that's stepping into the online space and they're setting up their social media account. What are maybe a checklist of some things that are really important for them to refer to in order to make sure that they're doing this correctly in the most powerful way?
Yeah, absolutely. So did you say Instagram or just in general?
Well, yeah, Instagram. We could even leak it into, Facebook or other social channels as well to add on to that. But I think a lot of people nowadays are playing on Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Instagram, as you know. So, I mean, first and foremost, every single one of the social medias, you got to have a profile picture. And if you're building a personal brand, make the picture you, right? I see so many people that don't do this. They put up, like, actually, again, yesterday, one of your guys, this is what I told him. He had this personal brand, but he had his company brand image, his company logo on there. And if you're building a brand around you, you got to have your photo on there. You got to have your face on there. People connect with other people. We're human beings. We connect with other human beings. And so if you have a face, it's just right away, people are going to look at it and connect to it a lot and stay there, over if you have just a brand image that nobody knows or recognizes yet. So I would definitely, that's number one. And that goes for all platforms, have a face there, and make it a good, powerful, clean looking screenshot, or headshot rather of yourself. So that'd be number one. Number two, your bio. Again, this goes for all social medias. On Instagram specifically, you get 150 something characters. I believe some of the other ones are like similar to that as well. And setting up your bio properly is it's just such a growth hack, man. Like, I like to always, when I coach this, I always say your bio creates the first impression when someone comes over to your account, and then your content closes the deal, meaning that you attain a new follower or a new lead, something like that. And so again, your bio is very, very important. And what you can do for this is, and I won't dive super in depth with it, but basically setting it up in terms of what I call a flow bio. And really what that means is that when someone comes to your account, they should literally just read left to right, top down, and just flow down your bio. So instead of creating like a giant paragraph that's just, a bunch of random sentences and words and emojis, set it up in like a list formation so that it's like a bullet point or like even an emoji, and then it's like a phrase or a buzzword that kind of sticks out. And you want this information to be impactful because you only get a limited space, right? So you want it to leverage a little bit about who you are and what you stand for. So maybe like your faith, your business, just like your family, your main priorities in life. And then you also want to build your credibility up and really show that, you are an expert in your field, or at least, what you're talking about, or are passionate about whatever it is that, your brand is all around. And so, an example of this would be author, speaker, traveler, podcaster, 7-figure earner. I mean, obviously I know you were saying someone just starting out, but those are just some examples of things that you can have in there, because what it does is it creates that automatic influence. When someone comes to your account, it looks clean, and then they see those buzzwords, those buzz phrases, they can connect with you. They, automatically have a somewhat of a relationship because they like some of the things you have in there about what you're passionate about. And then you have a little bit of leverage points in there, and they're like, wow, this person's legit. They're worth following. Okay. So you got your bio, and then the third stage would be your content. Content's king, really on any platform. Obviously they're all different. You got to play a game with all of them. Instagram, of course, is made up of images, captions, and videos. And so the biggest tip I can give you guys for content, and this kind of goes for, again, a lot of the platforms, but specifically with Instagram, go into your market, whatever type of brand you're in. If you're in the fitness space, let's say, and go look up, what are some of your competitors and some of your influencers in your space doing? Okay. So what I mean by that is, let's say you're just starting out and, let's say you got 0 followers. When you launch your page, you want to create it so that it looks good right away. So one of the best ways you can do this for content is you go study other people that, are just starting out, and kind of see like what they're doing and see if it's, working, if it's catching on, what's going on with them. But then the biggest thing is looking at your influencers. So finding accounts that have 100,000 to 1 million plus followers that are influential, that are in your market, in your space, and just study what they're doing. Literally take notes. What type of images are they posting? Are they dark images? Do they have font on it? What kind of captions are they posting? Are they long? Are they short? Do they have a call to action in them? I mean, it's literally endless what you could look for, but find key things and just study what they're doing. And then take that, model it, don't copy it, model it, and then put your own twist on it, right? So it's yours, it's you, but now you kind of have a framework, and you're like, oh, videos with a little bit of a wording over it seems to do better. It works better. The algorithm picks it up better. And, these guys are all doing that. So I'm going to do that for myself. But of course the video is going to be around you and, who you are and what you're doing. So for content, you just want it to look good. Obviously quality, okay. Quality over quantity. You also want it to be paint a message, tell a story. Okay. You can do that through your captions, talking in your captions, giving value, as much as value as you can. But you really, at the end of the day, you want it to reflect who you are. And you also want your content to tell a story in the sense that when I come to your page, I should know what I'm getting, right? If I come to your account, I should know, hey, this person is crushing it in fitness. This person's a personal trainer. This person is, a life coach, a personal development, mentor, whatever it is, whatever business you're in, whatever profession you're in, whatever brand you want to build, make sure your audience understands that and knows what they're getting. Don't go out there and, build a brand all around, your personal coaching and you're just posting blurry pictures of your dog, and it just makes no sense. And so just be clear with your message is really what I'm getting to. So we could go on all night, but those are, 3 big things that I would recommend, and kind of covers all your bases when it comes to Instagram and, all other platforms out there.
Nice, Alex. That is a thorough breakdown. Thank you so much, mate. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Now, Alex, do you have 2 to 3 examples of some people online that you believe are really crushing it when it comes to marketing themselves and presenting themselves online?
Yeah. So, there's a lot of people, and again, it's going to be dependent on what industry you're in, obviously, like if you're listening to this and you run a traditional business, like you say, you run a salon, some of these names may not necessarily relate to you, but, either way, you can of course learn from anybody. So, I mean, number one, kind of the kingpin in the personal branding world right now is Gary Vaynerchuk. It's just Gary V on Instagram. Definitely watch his stuff. I mean, this guy is absolutely dominating, the Instagram space and just all of social media for that matter, not even just Instagram. He's all over the place. Obviously he's doing it at like the highest level possible. And don't go there and get discouraged, because you don't need to be doing it at that level, but you can absolutely learn a lot of strategies just by watching what he does and how he does it. So Gary Vaynerchuk would be a big one that I would recommend. These are going to be kind of catered more towards the entrepreneurship side of things, because that's the world that I'm in. But all in all, they're, really good at branding. So I would say him. Another really good one that I like to follow is and see kind of how he does his stuff as well is kind of a newer guy actually, but he's been blowing up. Ed Milet. He's been really good, and it's just Ed Milet on Instagram. But he's been putting out a lot of very quality, high level pieces of content in the form of videos and Instagram stories and, and interviews, and he has his own podcast and YouTube channel and everything. And, I know Gary does as well, but Ed takes a completely different approach. And it's just really cool. And I like his style, and I like the way he brands himself, and he's been blown up very, very fast. So he's definitely someone to kind of check out. And then last, the third one I would, again, man, there's just so many, but honestly, for your listeners, I would tell them to go watch you. You're killing it. You got 1 million on Facebook, 650K on Instagram, and another 85K with your personal brand. So you can't be too upset at that. You got a banging podcast. So yeah, man, I would tell your listeners to study you, because you're obviously crushing it.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you for breaking that down. And I think what's important to know is we built organically too, and when I say organic, I didn't pay specifically for advertising. I collaborated, right? So I built a platform where I built a solid brand that was authentic, and at the same time I connected with other people that I vibed with that had similar values to me, and said, hey, let's create a win-win. So we've done some shout out for shout out. My personal brand, Joel Brown, I would say makes at least 10 to 12 times more than Addicted to Success. Because Addicted to Success is the company, but people want to connect with a real human. So if there's any way you can bring your personality into it or humanness into it, it's going to be a great edge for you, a great winning edge. So
couldn't agree more.
Yeah. I'm sure that resonates with you too. Just with the people that you've worked with, I'm sure that's the way they've made it work too, is just stepping more into who they are and sharing that. And I think the key is knowing that not everyone is going to love your stuff.
Right.
But there are definitely people out there that would love to be part of your tribe, or what Russell Brunson calls a culture, right? A cult.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So Alex, you obviously run a company, you co-found a company which makes multiple six figures. It's a digital marketing agency, and you're on track to make $1 million within your second year, which is a great achievement when we look at like how business growth and how you're able to, really step into your vision and make it something possible. So you work with over 600 brands and multiple 7-figure and 8-figure earners. How did this company come about? And then if you could just break down, like, what do you believe are the things that have allowed you to go from 6 figures to now close to 7 figures within the second year?
Yeah. So yeah, it's been an awesome journey. So this has been really fun to, go out there and build this thing. It started, we're about a year and a half in right now from when we started it, and it's called Invigorate Digital Marketing Agency. And actually the way that it started was purely just Instagram. So how it kind of came about was, I've always been looking for different ways to monetize on Instagram and trial and error and just, doing different things. And kind of met a few people and came across, the idea of being able to provide value in the form of actually helping people grow their Instagram accounts, which is a pretty common thing that a lot of people do. And I'm aware of that. But the difference is that, I knew just through my network in the past and the skills that we had and the resources we had, that we actually could provide like really high level quality results on Instagram. And so the idea was to really just work with high level individuals, because we just believed that, we could provide that type of value to the point where they would pay us, good money, and we could attract over big time clients. And so that was the idea. And I partnered up with 3 of my friends. There's actually 4 of us that own the company. All 3 of them I met, through just other business ventures in the past. And and we were all really good friends, all lived in the same area and met through, again, entrepreneurship. And so we got connected, I approached them rather, with the idea of kind of launching this and going after kind of that higher end market, kind of being like the Ferrari in the Instagram growth world. And so that's what we did. And we used, our leverage and our connections from years past, and our networks and again, and then a lot of my resources on Instagram, and formed a few partnerships, and took off, and it really just started to scale. Word got out, man. I mean, we just, we really did provide and still do provide great results for our clients. And, we work with a lot of people that are in like the, the direct selling space, affiliate marketing space, real estate, insurance, things like that. And those industries, they have a pretty high rate of referral, because it's like they have a big market and they're like, hey, this is working for me. And they go tell their friends. And so we also have like incentives and stuff for that too. But either way, it started to spread pretty quickly. And we started to scale, pretty quickly as well. And so that's kind of how it started. And then where we're at today and kind of how we got to where we're at and why we're growing is really what we did is we turned the company into more than just Instagram, and we really built it into a full-scale digital marketing company. And a lot of our success honestly has been coming from partnerships. We've created multiple strategic partnerships with individuals and other agencies and companies, around the world, to where we're all able to collaborate and work together, provide services for each other and each other's clients. And it's just been so amazing to be able to do that, because now it gives us the ability to leverage, which is really how you do go to that next level in anything in life. And so that's been huge. But what it also allowed us to do was expand, like I said, into a full-scale company. And so what I mean by that is there's kind of two avenues, and just real quick talk about how it works. There's two avenues with our company. The first one is all around influencer creation. This is where I kind of shine and spend most of my time. And what that really means is we just help individuals. Primarily, our perfect client would be somebody that's, doing six figures or above and is like an individual in some industry, like I noted to earlier, and then helping them really brand themselves online. So of course, Instagram is a huge portion of that. But we do more too, like PR, getting them featured in, publications and press, getting them on podcasts, things like this, helping them with like Facebook and getting a personal website. Just all that kind of stuff comes into play when it comes to, building a personal brand for somebody. So helping them go from, basically a nobody online to a somebody online, and showing them the right way to go and do it. And so that's kind of the influencer side of things. Then the other side of the company is more of the small to medium sized businesses and in the traditional world. So what I mean is, helping your local salon, your local restaurant, your local business owner that has a traditional storefront or online business, and then helping them kind of enhance their overall digital footprint in the online world. And so we help them just go get more reviews, get a Facebook page set up, help them drive, some SEO or Google ads, get them a website up, things like that that's valuable to a business owner. And so that's kind of the two avenues that we work with. And, we're able to scale so quickly, like I said, through word of mouth has been really big. When you work with high level people, they tend to tell other high level people, which has been amazing. And then pure, just again, organic growth through value, providing actual valuable results and information to individuals. And then the last piece to it would be, again, the leverage point of it's not just me, it's not just my partners. We have other partners, we have other companies, we have other sources that we're able to work with, and again, leverage to really scale what we're doing. So so that's kind of the journey of it.
Are there any algorithms that we should know about? Are there certain times to post in a day? Is there anything that we could be doing with our social media accounts to really get more reach, more impressions, more engagement?
Yeah, so I mean,
apart from the obvious of like making sure you comment back and obviously posting, right?
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, it's always a tough question because the algorithm changes. For those that don't know, it's not like Instagram just tells you what the algorithm is and it also changes. So it's pretty fun, trying to figure that out all the time. But a few things in terms of posting, it is going to be different for everybody depending on where you live, what time zone you're in. A great way to really know when a good time to post is make sure that your account is set up as a business account. If you don't know how to do that, just go Google it. Super easy to do. But what that'll do is it'll actually unlock all of the analytics. So Instagram does a pretty good job at giving you insights on your posts. And you can actually go look at those insights of your overall account and per post. And what it'll do is it'll actually tell you every single day of the week when your audience is responding the most. And so that therefore, it's if it's at 9 a.m. every single day, then I got to post at 9 a.m. every single day if I want to get maximum traffic. What I've realized just over the years of doing this, and maybe you can attest to this as well, but I'm out here in America, but for me, it seems like in the morning, more people engage almost always, between 8 and like 10 a.m. At my time, it's just anywhere. I used to live on the east side of the United States. Now I'm on the West Coast and different time zones, and it's still the same thing. In the morning, people engage the most. And I think it's just because people are getting up, they're starting their day. And, in today's generation, one of the first things that most people do when they start their day is they go on their Instagram, they go on their social media. So yeah, posting early is really good. And then again, just look at those analytics. But in terms of like, algorithm hacks, scaling, things like that, couple things, obviously a big one is hashtags. If you can really nail down your hashtags for your account, that's something that really can help you. I mean, even a lot of people have all these different ideas and theories about hashtags, but I still to this day, I use them. I use 30 hashtags in every post that I do. I try to switch them up every like 4 to 6 months. And I'm still ranking. I still hit some of the top hashtags and I land in the top posts and I get a bunch of traffic from that, organically. And so hashtags are a great way to bring constant exposure, but it also is just kind of always there where you just never know. You can land in a couple big ones and then all of a sudden you're on the Discover page and boom,
and
there
do
you go.
Put your hashtags in the comments or can you put it in your caption or what's the rule around that? Because people are a little bit confused on that one.
Yeah. So I actually still do it the old school way of putting it in the comments, man. I know a lot of people ever since this last Instagram algorithm update, they said that you had to only use 5 or something like that and put it in your captions. And I tested that for a while, but like I said, 30 hashtags in the comments of my post, they seem to do pretty good. So I don't know. Do you, what do you do with yours?
I don't usually put too many hashtags. I was running with the rule of, 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I'm going to try the 30 and see.
Yeah. Has that been going good? Maybe it's changed. I'm not sure.
To be honest, I haven't noticed too much of a difference, but
Gotcha.
I also haven't done 30 before. So I'm going to go with that. And this is the thing about social media, and this is the thing about marketing in general and even business is you got to test all the time.
Yeah.
You got to experiment and a lot of people shy away from spending marketing dollars, but I look at it as you're buying IP. You're buying data and results and analytics and stats so that you can see how you can improve.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Alex, you've instilled in us so much wisdom, and I really appreciate it. What I want to do is I want to give the listeners an opportunity to connect with you. So how can we find you online?
Yeah, so there's really 2 main ways. Number one would obviously be Instagram. You can just go to my account, Vision Wall. It's just one word, Vision Wall. And actually on there, you can connect with me in multiple ways. So you can either just shoot me a message in the DM. You can visit my website, which is on there as well, but it's just officialalexlombard.com. You can go on there, kind of check out a little bit more about who I am, what I do. And if you want to connect with me through there's a form you can fill out as well. And then the other way would just, through email, which again, it's all connected to my Instagram. So I would recommend just going there, obviously being that's what I love to do and what we're talking about. So if you want to just head over to my Instagram, again, at Vision Wall on Instagram, shoot me a DM, shoot me an email, or just go ahead and go to my website. Any of those ways can work.
Beautiful. Are there any online tools or software platforms, apps that you use that really help you to get an upper hand when it comes to social media and marketing?
Yeah. There's quite a few actually. So it obviously depends on what your outcome is, what you're looking for. But I'll name a few of them. For auto posting, that's always a big one that people always ask me about is how can I post, when I'm traveling, or how do you post when you travel so much? And I use an app and I know there's a lot of them, but the app that I use is called Better, Bettr, I believe is how it's spelled. I don't have my phone next to me, otherwise I'd pull it up. But just look up Better. If you can't find it on the App Store, just Google it. Better Auto Poster. But it's a cool little app, and they allow you to actually use hashtags. You can tag people in your post. And you can schedule them like a week in advance, I believe. So that's a great app for anyone that is busy and wants to kind of do the whole sit down on a Sunday, schedule out for the entire week on their Instagram. That's a great app to do that. So I use Better. Another app that I use is what's called Command. This one I believe you do have to pay for if you want to unlock the full features. I think it's a few bucks, but it's really cool. Really what it does is it gives really in-depth insights on your own content as well as your competitors' content, which is really interesting and unique, because you can actually go on there and you can look at, other accounts that are in your market, and it'll show you, their best performing posts, their best, highest engaging posts, on what hashtags they're using, things like that. And so you can kind of get a good feel for what's happening in your market, what's working, what's not working. So that's a great app. There's a lot you can do on there. It's called Command again. And then another one that I use is called Social Blade. This one's pretty common. A lot of people know this. Basically what it does is it allows you to look at your day-to-day growth on your account. So you can look at your weekly growth on Instagram, but this app allows you to look at your daily growth. And it also allows you to look again at your competitors or influencers in your space. You can look at their back-end analytics in terms of how much are they growing. So, and again, it's just a cool app, if you're looking for that type of information. And then the last one I'll give you guys is an app that I use for editing. It's called Lightroom. It's created, by Photoshop. Great app. It's free to use. And there's, endless things you can do on it. But what I'd recommend you do is you find what's pretty cool, what's called presets, where these kind of just do the editing for you. And, don't go crazy with it. I don't believe in like a, crazy, fully fake just profile, but, sharpening up your images, your videos, things like that, of course, is always going to be good to do. And this app will let you do that. And so, go ahead and grab that. It's free. And there's just endless things you can do with it. But yeah, those are a few apps that I'd recommend people use specifically for Instagram.
Great shares there, Alex. I'll be checking out those apps as well. One of them that I use is Iconosquare. So
yes.
iconosquare.com.
Great app.
And yeah, it's such a great app. And it's funny, I was showing a number of entrepreneurs in a workshop, and I was showing them how you can look at analytics on different people's accounts and you can study your own. And it was really interesting. One guy goes, well, why are you telling all of these people about this app? Aren't you worried that people will get insights that you won't now you're going to be competing with them and you won't be able to have the upper hand? And I said, it's really interesting you say that. I'm not concerned with that. I want to understand my audience more. And at the same time, I have confidence and trust that I can create something at a high level if I focus on what I can bring to the world. And I think this is something for the listeners. I'm sure this, you can attest to this too, is that no matter how much data and analytics you have, if you're not working on you and crafting your message, and like you said earlier in this interview, really getting clear on what your story is, you're not going to have that magnetic pull with your brand and with your marketing. You're not going to have an edge because you're trying to be like everybody else.
Yes, absolutely.
It's different, man. It's like, God's created us in a way. It's so incredible, so powerful, and so unique. We get to share that with the world. Why would you deny yourself of expressing your unique gifts?
Yes, I love that. And on that point, everybody has a gift too, and I think that's such a profound thing to realize, is that every human being, again, regardless of what you believe, every human being was given a gift that they can go and use, to help others and to live, an abundant life. And so the key is just to figure out what that gift is, and use it to its, full capacity for yourself.
Amen to that, brother. Amen. Thank you so much for jumping in. I really appreciate you, Alex. And before we wrap up this interview, I have one last question. And the question is, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like?
So what I would say is that life happens for you, not to you, meaning that you have been given the power to literally go out there and design the life that you want to create. You can have, be, or do absolutely anything that you want. You just need to first believe it and then execute on it.